Welcome back to another video. It's Bradford v Morecambe match reaction. Let me know your thoughts on the game in the comments down below. Like the video if you do go on to do so, and subscribe if you're new on the sport is massively appreciated. A 2-2 draw then against Morecambe on Boxing Day, and the story of the day is Darren Drysdale again just ruining football matches, and he's just a terrible referee. I mean, I don't know if you can write into the Referees Association, the FA, but that man should never be allowed to referee a football match again, not just because of what he's done tonight, not just because of headbutting a footballer on the pitch. I think it was an Ipswich player, Alan Judge, a few years ago. I think he sent Dean Windass off in a car park before. He's got big decisions wrong, and he gets them wrong every week. He's hated across the country, and tonight he's putting another terrible performance against Bradford City. And how he can referee, I've got no idea. He's cost us 3 points today, and I don't like blaming a game on a referee. I think it normally balances its way out. And I think in parts it did. I think there were decisions that he got wrong for Morecambe. I think there were soft fouls that he gave for us that weren't, and Morecambe probably had a few decisions that they didn't agree with. But I think there were a couple of penalty shouts that I'd have to see again, because in the heat of the moment, when you're all for your team trying to get back into a game or trying to nick the game late on, you can get carried away with that. So I'd have to see them again, but I thought there were a couple of decisions there that could have gone our way that didn't. And he kicked the ball out, the ball on the pitch, and then he kicked one off as one were kicked off by another team. And I know he wasn't doing that deliberately, but he's just got an awful grin on his face, and like I say, I think he revels in upsetting fans, especially ours, and he's just a terrible ref. He gets decisions wrong every week, but I'm not going to go on about it. That's all I'm going to say. I do think the second goal probably for Morecambe was probably down to him not booking players for the time. I mean, the time waste. I haven't even spoke about the time wasting. 3 minutes added on at the second half. How do you only get 3 minutes from 4 goals scored, 2 in the second half? The substitutions, I don't know how many exactly, but there were a few subs. I think they made 2, we made 2, I think. But there's still subs there that you can add on. And then the time wasting was just an absolute joke. I don't blame Morecambe for doing it. I don't blame any team for doing it. Morecambe were disgusting today with their tactics, but that's how they play. It got them a point. Fair enough, they'll take that point and they'll move on with it. But for me, you get this every season. Before the start of the season, we're going to clamp down on time wasting. We're going to start booking them. There'll be time added on. I don't agree with the time added on. It just infuriates fans. It puts fans at a bad place because they can't get the travel home. If it's a Tuesday game, it adds this time onto them. And I think it just affects the fans more than the game. I don't think it actually adds anything to a game. How many goals are scored late on? Not many. So do you actually get that time back? No. Yellow cards is the way to do it. Yellow cards stop it. That player ain't going to time waste again, because he knows that if he gets that yellow card, he's off. And do not be afraid to send him off for doing it. First yellow that he gave for time wasting was in the 79th minute, when it's basically irrelevant to start booking him then. An absolute joke, and it happens every week, and I'm sick of the time wasting. Clamping down on it, my arm. It's a joke. In the last couple of games, we've started games too slowly, and I think that's something that probably creeps back into the Marquis way, and it will, because we aren't the finished article yet, and I think that's the exciting thing. But the way, and obviously Notts County 4-0 down, of course, and then he gets something at half time, says whatever he says. It might not be a big massive rant, but he gets them fighting for that second half, and then we turn it around, and it could be a big point in the long term, especially that Osadebe won't be playing for us ever again. If he does, honestly, I don't know. I don't know what I'll do. But I don't know. He's a professional footballer. I don't know what level he'd go to. I honestly don't know if Osadebe is like a dog that you see on the edge of a motorway that's sort of crying and howling and barking because it's been mistreated and it's been without an owner for months. And you see him on the RSPC adverts all the time, and you feel sorry for it, and it's just sort of struggling. And then that's the same with Osadebe. He's on the pitch and he's sort of head down and hesitant, shaky. and he might not be. He might be the most confident player on the pitch, but he's just so hesitant. And the difference with Jamie Walker and Osadebe is light years. It's incredible. There were a moment in the first half where a Morecambe player were going towards the ball. Osadebe was sort of dithering, do I go, do I not? Walker would have been straight in and in for a tackle, and then we've got that high turnover, and then we get a chance, and that's what we've been doing the last few games. Osadebe were dithering, do I go, do I not? He ended up sort of halfway going, halfway not, and sort of backed out of it, and then they went and countered us. I don't know if that was a goal or if they had a good chance from that, but that's the difference. And if you're a ditherer, or if you're committed, that's the difference between 3 points, and that's the difference between a team functioning or a player functioning and individuals functioning. That's the difference with Alexander and Hughes. Hughes had individuals in that team. Alexander's turned those individuals into a team that's functioning, into a proper structure, that are fighting for each other because they're fighting for the places, because they're fighting to be that team together. They're one. And that's the difference what we've made with Alexander to what we had with Hughes. And Osadebe is an individual, and that's not against him. If he could well be a League Two player, he could well go to Grimsby like an Abarisa, he could well score 30-yard strikes and whatever. But if he's not committed to the course, and he's backing out of challenges, and he's undecided on what he's doing and hesitant, then you can't come with us, because this isn't where we're going. And there's loads of players like that, and we've got to get rid. That starts on the 1st day of January, and it finishes at the last day of the 2024 summer. And we'll start building a team that fits Alexander's style, of his philosophy, and the way he wants to shape a team, because it's too big anyway. So yeah, Osadebe, I've had my say on him. I'll give him my play rating, and I'll forget about him then. I don't want to talk to him about him again, hopefully, at Bradford City. You know, it's cruel. But he's not got the... I don't think he's got the character, and he certainly hasn't got the quality to play for Bradford City. And the quicker that he moves on, the better, because I'm dead certain that will be his last Bradford City game. Without going too harsh, without going in too much against a person, and that's what he is, a person, a footballer. He's got a foot, but you know, he's not a baller, that's for certain. But yeah, that's got to be the end for Osadebe, and I'll give him a 0 because he didn't turn up. You know, you can give a player a 1 because they turned up. He didn't turn up, and I don't think he put the effort in. So yeah, Osadebe, that's that. So yeah, I'll talk about the goals quite quickly. Like I said, I went 1-0 up. Osadebe again. The ball flicked off his shoe. We didn't react to that second ball coming in because it were a mysterious one that you wouldn't expect, a bit fluky. The Morecambe player reacted quicker, James Connolly, and got on the end of it, slotted it home. They went 2-0 up with JJ McCarran again with the time wasting. Were a bit maybe petulant. Fans turned against the referee as they're going countering. Tompkinson were caught up the other end of the field. Platt then came out and covered him. Came out of his position to get onto the man, didn't stop the cross, and then Kelly had to come across. He didn't. He stayed in his position. So Spode busted a gut to get back. It was too late, and they had a tap in. Like I say, Kelly probably should have gone across into that front post area, and then you're relying on a Richards or a Smallwood or an Osadebe then to cover the back post area, because you know, if one player goes out the system, you've got to shift across, and we didn't really do that. And they didn't really have any other chances before that or after that. They only had 2 shots on target the whole game. We got into the game a bit more. The fans were fantastic, especially I think it was after the first goal, but I still think after the second goal they were getting behind them. I think we were chanting everywhere we go, one of the chants anyway, and I think that's the thing, you know, when you can see a team that's committed and buying into everything that the manager's telling them, the fans buy into that, and the atmosphere just transcends into the whole ground and onto a pitch, and you definitely saw it in the second half. It was electric again, and we got out there, we were on the front foot from the minute go, and we created loads of chances. Andy Cook hit the bar, it bounced down, and then I think we hit wide all over. A few other chances came and went. Odra had a couple, I think, as well. And we just didn't have that bit of killer instinct to finish the game and get us back in maybe 3 or 4 goals. But it was always going to be a tough mountain to climb when you're 2-0 down in the second half. Odra's goal, I can't remember it. Yeah, good play down the right side. Cross came in. think Cook got a touch on it, fell to Rodra perfectly, and he placed it into a bottom corner. And then Halliday, what a cross by Kieran Kelly. It's a striker's finish really. He's in the right place at the right time at the back post, and he could have hit it over, but he's just coolly tapped it into the back of the net. So a really good finish from him. Again, I think we had a couple more chances. Like I said, a Cook one's a really good chance. A couple of half-hearted penalty appeals, but I think it was a good performance in the end, a good point that we can take into the next game against Stockport. They drew to Barrow tonight, so that's a good point for us, because if Barrow can drop points, that's a good thing. And Stockport going into them, they're going with us in a draw and 3 draws in the last 5. To the player ratings, Harry Lewis, I don't think he could have done up with the first goal. I think if you're a League 2 goalkeeper, to be able to save a shot like that takes good reaction, you've got to be alert. You've got to be a top goalkeeper, and he ain't, because he's playing at League 2 level. So yeah, I don't think he could have done it about that. Second goal, again, you've got to have really good reactions to get that. So I think there's a few goals we've conceded a lot of those goals where something's gone wrong in the penalty box, and you've got to have good reactions to save it. Maybe ricochets and crosses into the front post area. You've got to be a top keeper to save them. So I don't have anything against the goals he conceded. Again, he flapped a couple of crosses from corners, and I think that's a real problem for him at the minute. Those moments where he just need to come and claim it with confidence, and he's flapping at them. But luckily, there ain't a lot of pressure on him at that moment. But teams will figure that out. If we can figure it out from the stands, and we can see that's a problem, teams looking at loads of footage of us, they will pick up on that, and they'll get someone in around Lewis, and they'll have tap-ins if he keeps doing that. So he's got to be aware of that, and he's got to get a bit more presence for corners for me. But I don't know if that comes with confidence. Obviously, he's made a few mistakes, but I can't say anything other than a pretty solid game today, and I'll just give him if Brad Halliday gets a 4, it's out of 5. Let me know yours in the community tab. I'll put them on there. We'll do the month in review of December, and we'll talk about your player ratings. Halliday for me was brilliant, superb defensively for me. I don't think much gets past him, and going forward he's really improved, and obviously got his goal. You can't talk about that. I've always talked about his energy and his lungs, and they're just wow, incredible down that right side. And like I say, no really got past him. So I think he's just an all-round brilliant player, and a joy to watch every Saturday, because you're going to get that commitment that you need for a structure like this to work with the high intensity pressing that we do. Jonathan Tompkinson, I thought he were brilliant. Like I say, maybe he got caught too high up the field for the second goal, but I think that helped us having a player like him and Kelly who can do the overlap. So I love that, because you create overloads and you put loads of pressure on the opposition, and then you can press high. And we saw that in second half. You create loads of chances by pressing high. And with Walker, we missed him because he couldn't. You don't have that Gilly and Walker pressing at you and closing you down. You had Gilly and Osadebe backing off and coming in maybe a bit, and you need that commitment. And with Odra, you got a bit more of that, pressing forward with him, and a bit of quality on the ball as well. And so that's what you need with that. And Tompkinson and Kelly support that so well, because they get tight to the men, they get crosses in, like you saw with Halliday's goal, and they're really good on the ball, quite composed as well, especially with Tompkinson. And defensively, like I say, not really got past him, shields it out for goal kicks a lot of the time, really assured, composed on the ball. I think I said that after the Doncaster game, and I'd love to keep him, but it's a bit like the Critchlow thing, innit? You're not going to keep him, and you've just got to make the most out of him whilst he's here. And I'm sure Swindon fans will be thinking that with Jake Young. So a 4 for Tompkinson. Platt gets I don't know with Platt, because I felt like second goal he could have done better. I'm not sure if he's a player who switches off or not for the first one, so I can't comment on that. And then their striker, what's his name? Jordan Slew. He was such a handful. He was he was. I mean, he had to wrestle him to the ground a few times, Platt. And I'm quite glad that Drysdale sort of let that that sort of tussling go, because he could have committed a few fouls by doing that, but he had to, because he was so strong, and probably a bit bigger than Platt as well. So I thought he matched him really well, and but yeah, I thought Tompkins and Kelly were probably better, so I'd give him a 3 plate. I thought he was quite steady. Kelly gets a 4. Like I say, maybe could have done better with a second goal coming across, but then did Richards track back? I'd have to see that again. Was Smallwood sort of there, so he knew he didn't have to come across? I'm not sure on his situation. I just felt maybe that's what you have to do, and that's something they might work on as well. But I can't really criticise him for that. Superb cross for Halliday, and again a steady Eddie down at left side, really composed with his defending. He puts in some great tackles, and I'm forgetting these 2 moments where his recovery pace is frightening. It's electric. He's brilliant at recovering the ball. I mean, he's like a steam engine. It's incredible. The recovery pace he's got. He's one of those players that is so much slower, so much faster than the look. Kelly, Irish centre back, quite big, 25 years of age. Balding at the top, and the recovery pace comes darting out of defence, left a skid mark on the floor, and kicks out for a throw-in with a sliding challenge, raw tackle. And it happened again. Fans were getting a bit agitated, wet fouls weren't being given. I think Osadebe, that was when he gave the ball away in the middle of the park, and he just comes out of nowhere and sweeps the ball away from the attacker, and it's a throw-in for them. But it's an incredible challenge again, and he's so good at that, and I don't know where he comes from. He comes out of nowhere with his pace, and it's like, where have you found this from? It's like he's got a magic power boost to just sprint away from the attacker. It's incredible. So yeah, fantastic again. Richards, I think there's moments with Richards, especially defensively. I think he'll look a bit out of position there. You look like you're being caught there. Have you pushed too far up? Have you gone a bit too advanced? Have you dropped off a bit too much there? A few moments where I think, I'm not sure about you, but then he's up the other end and he's attacking. He gets at his man, takes him on, gets a crossing, and his crossing's a bit poor, but he's good at he's good at beating his man. So I like that, and that's something that he probably needs to improve on. Maybe his defensive positioning and in his crossing, but that comes with game time. So I do quite like him. I thought he was okay today, so I'd probably give him a 3. But yes, he's still got a lot of improvement to do for me. Smold gets a 3. I mean, there were people around me sort of slating him. I'm not sure about that. I thought he was steady. A few good tackles in there. Again, I think that first half, the midfield was all open, and the centre backs were vulnerable. And I think you've got to blame Smallwood a bit on that for not being in the right areas, and maybe for the second goal, look, we'll blame Smallwood for losing his man. Maybe you will. And I can't really say out against that. But I thought, especially in that second half, the way he controlled the ball, played the simple passes. Like I say, I've said previously, he will get the ball and just hoof it up towards Cook, because that's what Alexander wants him to do. That's what he's been told. Harry played under Hughes. That's the instructions, to play backwards, sideways passes and dictate the tempo and slow the game down. And he's always shouting on the pitch, and I like him, and I thought he led by example today and put in a solid performance. I don't think it's quite a 4. I don't think it quite justified that, but he's the captain and the team's fighting and showing character, and I think he's one of those characters and leaders that you need. Gilead 4, fantastic, energy, tenacious. The way he runs down that right channel is fantastic. The crosses are getting to the areas. For me, we're the man of match. Halliday's got a lot of it. Halliday got it, and he will get applauded, and rightly so. But for me, Gilead's fantastic, and the midfield struggled today. Like I say, Smallwood wasn't at his best, bit open. Osadebe wasn't putting in the effort, and you needed a Gilead to just take that and to chase down every loose ball, chase down the opponents, put pressure on them. And I thought he was superb today, and he has been all season. He's a leader, he's a character, he's a warrior, and he will fight to the death for the badge, and that's exactly what you want. You need players like him, and he was superb today. Tyler Smith, I thought he wasn't lucky to come off. Tyler Smith, I thought his first touch was fantastic, when a lot in that first half, the first touch was terrible, and throughout the game it still was. I thought the first touch was really off for a few players, whereas Tyler Smith, his first touch was fantastic. He was turning, moving, creating a few opportunities to create a chance that didn't quite come, and there were he did have a few chances, but there were one that went up to nearly second tier of the Cop, where he swivel turned and did it when he probably shouldn't have. And he had a few other half chances, but I really like him, and I thought he had a good game, so I'd probably give him a 4. Andy Cook, 4, again, didn't get the goal, but his work rate is fantastic. He doesn't really chase like Smith does, didn't really chase like even Oliver did when he came on, or Walker, or Smallwood, or Gilead, or Halliday. You know, those players who are just engines, who don't stop running, who are tireless. He don't do that, but he will fight with every defender. He will win flick-ons. He barely loses an aerial duel. He's great on the ball. He's turning. He's running in behind. He's stretching defences. He does all the hard work that goes unnoticed unless he scores. And you've got to credit him when he does that and he doesn't score. Tonight, we're 2-0 down. Alexander's barking on the touchline, gets him at half-time, brings off the worst player on the pitch, and brings on a more attack-minded winger to play as the number 8. We went for the game. We brought the game back to 2-2. We're still going for the game. And the only reason we didn't win the game was because we missed a couple of good chances, yes. But we should have had maybe around 7-8 minutes added on. And there were a few shouts that we could have won from the ref, who had an absolutely stinking game. But I won't just blame it on the ref, but he was terrible. But yeah, we gave everything in that game, and that's all you can ask for, and that's all I ask for, and that's all you ask for, and that's all Bradford City is, and he gets it. You know, he talks after the game, he talks all about the fans, how good they are, but what Bradford is. And Bradford's a hard-working city and a hard-working club, and that's what we are now. We're a hard-working team, and for years we haven't had that, and now we do. So thank you, Graham Alexander. Hope you had a great Christmas, and thanks for getting Bradford back to being Bradford. Have a good one.